It's official. Ferrari need to have the talk with Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. Austria saw Charles Leclerc's first victory since Australia, and it was a much needed win for the Monash driver, but it could have been so different, especially during the sprint race, where we saw both of the Ferraris just edging closer and closer together, and I genuinely thought there was going to be contact between the two red cars. Now, obviously, there was no contact between the two Ferraris, and both of them qualified about where you'd expect them to be come the Sunday, but it got me thinking, what would have happened if there had have been contact between the two? Ferrari have already put themselves under increasing pressure over the course of the season so far, both in terms of strategic and reliability issues which have plagued their season. Whether it was pit stop issues in Monaco or exploding engines in Spain, they've had a little bit of everything go against them over the course of the season so far. Now imagine if not only they had to deal with Carlos Sainz catching fire on a Sunday, but also a collision between teammates on a Saturday. And I'm not saying that I don't trust these drivers not to collide. I've talked in abundance about how I think Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz is a perfect balance for this Ferrari team, and actually about how I think they might be the best driver pairing on the 2022 grid. But after 11 races, Max Verstappen finds himself fairly comfortably top of the Drivers' Championship with a 38-point lead. Let's not forget that he's won 6 races out of those first 11, whereas Charles Leclerc only has 3 victories to his name. And that means that Red Bull also sit fairly comfortably 46 points ahead of Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship. And I genuinely just think Ferrari need to be a little bit more cutthroat if they're going to challenge for both of these titles. I mean, let's take the last 2 races. Silverstone, for instance, should have been a gift for Ferrari. Red Bull were by far and away the quicker in the dry conditions over the course of the entire weekend. But with Checo dropping down the order early and Max Verstappen damaging his floor on debris, forcing him into a damage limitations drive, the door was open for Charles Leclerc and Ferrari to do some real damage in both championships. Yes, I know they went on to win that Grand Prix with Carlos Sainz picking up his first victory, and don't get me wrong, I was incredibly happy to see Carlos Sainz get a victory. I'm a huge fan of Carlos Sainz, and I genuinely think after 150 race starts, I can't think of anybody else who deserves a win in Formula One more, but the title challenger in Charles Leclerc left Britain frustrated with a 4th place finish and only making up 6 points on Max Verstappen over the course of the weekend, again leaving Binotto to try and pick up the pieces and make sure that Charles Leclerc was still motivated moving into Austria. And he'll be really glad that he did, because Austria, well, it gave with one hand but took away with the other again. They certainly got it right in terms of the Drivers' Championship when it came to Austria. Obviously, Charles Leclerc, as I said, picking up that first victory since Australia, and that is a huge turning point for him in whether or not he's going to be able to keep up with Max Verstappen over the course of the season. But they got the Constructors' Championship taken away from them again, because that Ferrari car, specifically on the Sunday, was monumentally quick. And I know that the graining on the Red Bull tyres, specifically in the case of Max Verstappen, left him a little bit of a sitting duck at times. But I genuinely think Ferrari 1-2 was all but guaranteed. Carlos Sainz was making temps upon temps every single lap on the current world champion until his engine explodes. Meaning that, again, the red team come away with a win, but come away from the weekend feeling frustrated. Which leaves us in a really weird place with Ferrari. We're coming off the first back-to-back victories they managed to get this season. We're coming off the back of the fact they've got back-to-back victories after a 7 Grand Prix drought between Australia and Great Britain, where they hadn't got a victory and Red Bull had won all of those races. And yet we come away from these back-to-back victories unhappy. Like, Ferrari still don't have that joyous feeling around them. There still feels like there's more to come with Ferrari, and there's still questions that are unanswered. And one of those questions is, are Ferrari going to be able to challenge for both of these championships? Now, this is just my opinion, but I genuinely think the only way that Ferrari can win either of these championships is by being ruthless and making Charles Leclerc the clear #1 driver. I know that Carlos Sainz picked up his first pole position and his first win in Silverstone, and he's looking to build a little bit of momentum into this season, but it took all 3 top cars, Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen, and Charles Leclerc, having issues for him to pick up that victory, and the fact that Charles Leclerc in a damaged Ferrari was clearly quicker over the course of the Grand Prix as well. You just have to look at Charles Leclerc's quote on his in-lap. Charles Leclerc said himself, the amount of race time we lost in that race is, oh my God. And when he is so frustrated coming home in 4th place, you know that something's gone wrong. And for me, that thing that went wrong is the indecisiveness that the team seems to show every single time the pair are on track together. And especially as the Ferrari is looking better and better and looking more and more likely to challenge the Red Bull every single Grand Prix, it's frustrating that every single time they're on track, neither driver really knows what's going on. And then it's not only frustrating for the drivers, it's frustrating for the Ferrari fans at home as well. When Red Bull have a clear structure, a clear hierarchy in place for every single event. Because let's face it, Charles Leclerc is the only driver that's even close to the level of Verstappen this season. For me, Max Verstappen has been so cool, calm, and collected. He's been so decisive in every single Grand Prix that if Charles Leclerc is going to get anywhere close to the level of Max Verstappen this season and be able to surpass the Red Bull and win his first World Championship, he's going to need every single minute advantage that he can get. And that's why I think heading into the second half of the season, Ferrari need to sit both drivers down and break some Spanish hearts, because I genuinely think every single thing that the team can do, strategy-wise, upgrade-wise, needs to funnel through Charles Leclerc. It needs to give Charles Leclerc everything that he possibly can to even get close to Max Verstappen. No more battles, no more lap targets between teammates, just cold, decisive, mechanical winning. Take a leaf out of Red Bull's book and do everything you can for Charles Leclerc. But that's just my thoughts, and I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Leclerc needs to be a clear number one if he's going to challenge for the championship? Let me know your thoughts. Whilst you're down there, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're aiming for 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We're getting ever closer, but you could be part of those first 10,000 if you just hit that subscribe button right now. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.